Hi, friends. Thank you again for your patience. All right. I'm excited to talk to Monique today because, as you know, I always talk about the amazing thing, the life hack that is house sitting. But I don't want you to think that I made it up or that I'm the only person out there. So we're going to talk to Monique, who has had her very first house sit. It was pre-COVID. It was in December, but she had her very first house sit. We're going to talk to her all about it, what it was like, how she got the house sit, will she house sit again, all of the questions. So make sure that you're in the chat. You know the drill. Ask your questions in the chat. If you're watching the replay, hi. Ask your questions in the comments. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome, Monique.
Hi, thank you. Hey, everyone, and hey to future people tuning in. I hope you're doing as well as you could possibly be right now.
Yeah, it's crazy times, right? Crazy times. So you're in DC. I thought Monique was in California. We had this originally scheduled for late at night, and she was like, "Why is this so late? Do you think I'm in LA?" I was like, "I do think you're in LA. You're in DC though."
Yeah. Yes, I got here about a month ago because my industry, I'm an actor as well as a travel writer, and both industries are shut down right now. So I figured I'd save me a few $1,000s by just coming home for at least the summer, and I guess I'll see what happens after this.
Because you had just moved out to LA full time. Right.
Yeah, back in January. So, I mean, I was there and I was waiting it out. And every 2 weeks, I'm like, all right, he said it'll be 2 more weeks. Yeah. And then I got to the point where I'm like, all right, I'm literally just paying rent just to do it. I would rather be locked down out there. But when I think of how much money I'm saving, I'd rather be here.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I can't imagine, being out in LA and not working because you're an actor, not working. Oh, goodness. I struggled enough in California when I was house sitting. California is not made for cheap people.
Yeah. I mean, it's so easy to just spend $100 in a day, and that's not even on groceries. There were some days I get home and I look at a receipt and I'm like, damn, you just blow money on things that you need though.
Where is the money? Yeah. So are you from DC?
Yes, born and raised.
Okay. All right. And so I really am really super excited to talk to you about being an actor and moving to California to be an actor. But I promised house sitting talk first. So in December, you did your very first house sit.
Yes.
How did this happen?
It actually was at the very, very end of November where, I had to go out there and see if it was real, all thanks to your template, because this was I'm pretty sure it was my 3rd time on Trusted Housesitters. So a couple months before that, I saw you in No Madness talking about it. And I'm like, I don't know what you were saying. You just seemed like you knew what you were talking about. And I was just convinced let me go ahead and sign up for this a 3rd time, because it was then or nothing. If it didn't work out, then I would have just been out of $100 or so. And that would have been my last time fooling with that platform, because it's been hard.
Yeah, same thing happened to me, kind of. So you by 3rd time on Trusted Housesitters, do you mean you paid for membership 3 times?
Yes, that was my 3rd time.
No, I can understand that though, because I paid for my membership and then didn't bother to apply for house sits because I didn't know anybody who did it. And
yeah, it's one of those things where you get ramped up and you spend a few days doing it and then I just forget about it. Yeah. Or it's places in the country in the middle of nowhere where it's no, I'm a city girl. I want to be in the heart of everything. So I wasn't seeing a lot at some points, but I just would forget that I was signed up.
Yeah, it wasn't me forgetting for me. It was just that I thought is this legit? Even after I paid for my membership, I was like, is this legit? What is going to happen here? And then something happened. A local woman was just like, I'm going to Disney World. Can you house sit for me? And I was like, okay. And so she is the reason that I became a house sitter, because I was like, I was still unsure, even though I'd already paid them my $100 or whatever it was back then. So
I was sure of it. I knew it was legit. Okay. Especially for times of charm. But a lot of things, maybe you'll ask me about it, so I won't tell the story. But there were a lot of things going on with the person I was trying to house it for. And I had even reached out to you at one point, does this even seem legit? There were some slip ups, but it ended up working out.
Yeah. Let's talk first about the template. So everybody, hi friends. We're just going, hi Sarah and hey G. Hi Janella. Lovely day 6.
Hey,
hi guys.
I can't see you.
No. But So you guys know that I have a template. I have like an actual email that I send to get booked to house sit, and I have a copy of it on my site. So I'm going to drop a link to it, but I can't do it right now because I can't talk and type and it'll stop everything, and I don't have a copy. So I have an actual email that you can send to people when you're ready when you're on Trusted House Sitters or whatever house sitting platform you're on, when you're ready to start applying for house sits. It's like, it works. Like, it's the template that I use and it works, right?
Yes, y'all. It took me years to finally get one, and the only difference was your template. And I even was gonna have like a backup house sit if that didn't work, and again, the same template.
Yeah. So you contacted the people. What about the particular house sit made you want to do it? Like, what about the house sit made you want to apply for it?
So I was only looking at Paris or LA because those are my two favorite cities, and I just didn't want to, get a house sit for the sake of being somewhere. I wanted to be somewhere where I enjoyed. So none of the Paris ones, they just didn't happen to work out, but I was applying to those in LA. And then this LA one, the house that they had, on their profile looked gorgeous, and it was in my dream neighborhood, which at the time was Sherman Oaks. Now it's like, I still would like to live here, but after living there are a few more neighborhoods where I'm like, I would like to live there as well. So the house looked beautiful. It looked exactly like what I want my dream house to look like, and it just felt like it was meant to be.
I think this is the house that you did the day in the life of a house sitter video about.
Well, once I finally got on the phone with this woman, like the first thing she said to me was, "You may not even want to do it anymore because it's not the house in the pictures." So don't that sound like a scam?
I remember you talking about that.
But it did end up still being it was a cute little 1-bedroom bungalow. It wasn't, the huge house in Sherman Oaks, but this was better for me because I rented a car a few times out there, but I wasn't driving the whole time. So it worked better than Sherman Oaks would have.
Okay, so it ended up being a better location for you. Okay. Well, even the one that you were in, the kitchen was really pretty. They had like a nice, pretty backsplash. I was like, I would totally set my tripod up and take some pictures in that kitchen.
Yes, it was a gorgeous, gorgeous house.
So they were in the middle of moving, or they were like...
Yes, they actually have a few properties throughout California, but they, I think they had closed on the house that was in the pictures, but they had agreed that the family who was there would stay there while they were out of town. Okay. So this was a rental property of theirs, and it just worked out, like, lucky for them.
Okay. Yeah, I do remember that conversation now. Yeah. Sometimes things do pop up that are just so weird, and you're like, you can't prepare. Like, you never know what people will do. Yeah. Like, some of us would not probably list a house sit, in a house that we hadn't moved into yet. But sometimes people will do that kind of stuff, so you don't know.
That it makes you think like they already just had the picture of their dog, or like the blurry little picture that you can't click on Trusted House Sitters. And then it's like the new house that she was like, I'll upload pictures tonight. And so she did that. And I'm like, it looks nice, but they're so teeny and blurry. And it's just like, are y'all going to kidnap me? Like, you don't know.
Yeah. Always ask questions. Like if it stands out to you as weird, I ask questions. I had a situation in LA in Santa Monica where she had house sitters before and nobody had left her a review. And that's not common. When people know that you're new to the platform, they go out of their way to make sure they leave a review. Sometimes I don't now because I've done too many house sits. But most of the time, if I knew that they had never had a house sitter before or something, I would make sure I left them a great review if it was a great house sit. So I didn't bother.
Now that you say that, she may have actually had a review and it was for a different house.
The house, yeah.
I think that was really why I was like, all right, I mean, it seemed legit, but too many things were happening where I started to question it at one point.
I had the one that I had, she didn't have any reviews and I didn't bother to ask her, why have you had 3 house sitters before and no one's left a review? If I did, I would have realized that her dog was not fully trained and he was a little aggressive. But I didn't know.
I've read that story or something on your... I've heard that.
It was my worst house sit, the worst one. And it was only 2 nights. But because I didn't ask her enough questions, I was desperate. I wanted to be in LA, and LA is expensive.
Exactly. Like I just wanted to be in LA. So after that first house sit, you really learn. Like it doesn't matter how prepared you think you are. After that first house sit, you're gonna learn what you should have asked before.
Yes. Did you, and you wanted to be in LA at that time because you had acting work booked? Like you had?
No.
Okay.
I didn't even have to be there at that particular time. Another thing that I was specifically looking for was just long-term house sits.
Okay.
So if I wasn't going to be acting out there, then I would have used that time to like create travel vlogs and stuff, or just little videos, because I do want to focus on my YouTube more. But once the acting jobs were picking up, which I just happened to, go to a few casting agencies and register with them. And then the next thing I know, like 2 days later, they're like, we have a job for you. And then it just was constant. And there was a slight lull, but once it picks up, it picks up. So it just all worked out for me. I didn't know what was going to happen. I was just out there.
Yeah. So you booked the house sit, you talked to them a little while, and then you show up on the day. I assume that you guys did like a couple of Skype calls because of or maybe one Skype call or something.
We may have talked like twice.
Okay.
Like that was it. I do recommend, Skyping with someone, but I don't know. I'm just very relaxed about too many things. And so I wasn't pressing her about that. But if I felt more comfortable, or if it was a guy, like we should be on Skype, and she would have been fine with it. We just happened to talk on the phone because we kept trying to connect on, I want to say maybe once or twice, and it fell through. So by the time I was able to talk to her, I'm just like, girl, get on this phone. And like, we just had a good conversation.
Did she ever express any concern with you being a new house sitter?
Not at all. Actually, after I sent her the first message, she was like, hey, Monique, you sound great.
Yeah.
And this was, house sits in LA, they get so many applicants.
Yes,
I don't know if I just happened to be the first she clicked on or what, but she was like, hey, you sound great. Let's jump on a call. And like, I really feel like now that I'm talking through this, it really feels like it was meant to be, because I don't know why she chose me. And I was new-ish to the site. Like, I think I said I've been on this site, for a few years, but you could see that I'd never had a house sit before.
Yeah. It's kind of weird how somebody can just say, I feel comfortable with you moving into my house while I'm gone and taking care of my most beloved family member. And, and I've never met you, and I've never met anyone else who has met you. It's strange, but it works. People have to be, there's a certain kind of person who brings on a house sitter. I think they're probably a more trusting person, and that in exchange, and that helps you feel, more relaxed and more comfortable with them. Because when you think about it, it's a weird situation, but it works.
I wouldn't want it. That's why I didn't have pets, because I had a cat once, and then I'm like, I like to travel too much, so that was it. And I know that I can't have pets unless, I'm going to be home all the time.
I saw in your video, you were like, future bae, do not ever buy me a dog. Don't buy me a dog.
Please don't. And if you're in this chat, please don't surprise me with no puppy.
That's funny. Okay. Hey, friends. Hi, Eve. Yes. Oh, so hi, Eve. I am house sitting right now. I'm in New Orleans, Louisiana. I booked this house sit because of Essence Festival months ago. I never book ahead of time. I never, ever book that far ahead except for my regulars. I have a December regular and an August regular. But
I would book for Essence Fest.
I booked it, and there's no Essence Festival, so I'm just down here sweating. Just down here sweating and eating.
I'm in DC sweating, so...
Girl, yeah, it's been humid everywhere. It's been hot. I guess it's summertime. That's how it's supposed to be, but that's it. I'm here with the house. There are 2 dogs here, and they always get rowdy as soon as I open up the laptop. So you probably heard the other one. His dish was empty, and he was licking the dish so much that it was making noise on the floor.
Wow.
I had to snatch it from him.
I didn't hear it.
Okay.
They know. They sense that you need peace and quiet, and they just want to act up.
No, and they're like, now is the perfect time. Yeah. Friends, if you have any questions about your first house sit, ask. Thank you for jumping over here. I know I sent you the wrong link. I'm sorry. All I can say is, I don't know what I'm doing. But thank you for coming over here and joining us. Whatever your questions are about house sitting, ask, because I have a different perspective from Monique. Monique is new to it, and so she can answer some of the new stuff that maybe I can't remember, or I just didn't bother to think about when I was new. So ask all of your questions. We're here. Okay, so you got the house sit. You've agreed to talk to the lady. You've agreed to house sit for the lady after talking to her. You show up at the house. How was it walking into a stranger's home and, being responsible for it?
Well, let me just tell you about the first day. So I had flew in the day before, and I think they switched their dates a little bit, but it was fine because I didn't want to try to be rushing from the airport or anything. Okay. So that actual day, I was coming from my friend's house, and I had sent her, I sent her the address, the telephone number, the lady's name, and everything, just so somebody can know where I was. Yes. Because I don't know, it just still felt weird. I still had a funny feeling in my stomach, which is weird because I've stayed in Airbnbs all over the world, and that's the same thing. I don't know who's up in there waiting for me. Right. So I get there and I knock on the door. The woman's husband opens the door and he has a friend sitting on the floor. I don't see her nowhere. And he's like, hey, just hang out on the couch. And I'll skip forward. Come to find out that they are both musicians. And he's kind of, I don't listen to their music, but he could be kind of a little bit famous, or he's celebrity adjacent. Okay. So, you could they have a Wikipedia. So come to find out, luckily, they are, well-known people. Good. But I didn't know that going in. So looking back, or after I found that out, because we were just chit-chatting until she was done. She may have dropped their son off or something. She was out of the house, but just for a couple minutes, and she was coming back. So I think at some point he was like, yeah, you should, Google her, check out her page or something. So once they left, I did. And I'm like, it's okay. I text my friend, girl, everything's okay. This is a celebrity. So
they don't need anything from me. They're not going to rob me from. So okay.
I'm like, do they have cameras in this house? Wondering if I'm going to do anything. But it worked out fine. And the only thing that happened once I got there was she had a letter written out for me of, things to do feeding times, or that was it. She gave me a bunch of restaurant recommendations and stuff. And before they had left, I had actually taken the dog for a walk, which was great because that dog, obviously the dog is in love with her parents. So even when we were coming back from the walk, she kind of saw them getting into the car, and I had to drag her the other way. And for a couple of days, she was so sad. But she eventually warmed up to me.
Okay. Yeah. By the time you shot the video, you guys were best friends.
Oh yeah. That was towards the end.
Yeah. So this was 6 weeks. I don't know if I've said that. This was 6 weeks. Your very first house sit was 6 weeks in LA. Amazing.
Yeah, I was specifically looking for long-term ones to make it worth my while.
I like them now. In the beginning, I did a lot of short house sits, but now I prefer, much longer house sits. Except, even though this is, because I was here for Essence Festival, this is 1 week, and then I have one down the street practically for 2 weeks after this one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Once I committed to come here, then I was like, well, might as well stay as long as possible, because I don't like to fly too much. I'm not crazy about flying as much as I travel. So I was like, let's stay here as long as possible so I don't have to get back on an airplane. So I have 2 house sits that are 3 weeks total. But normally, I don't do stuff that short anymore. But they're still good. So for you guys.
Awesome how it worked out.
Yeah. For you guys, though, you can, you don't have to be a long-term house sitter to be a house sitter. I have done one-night house sits. I've done 1 and 2 night house sits. If you want to be in a certain place on a certain night and you don't want to pay to stay there, you can house sit. That time I went to LA was for a conference. One time I house sat in Wimbledon in the UK just because I wanted, I was passing through and the train stopped there. And I don't think it cost any different to go straight from where I was going, So it cost the same whether I spent the night in Wimbledon or not. So I took that house sit. You can do short houses. The 4th of July weekend is usually a house sitter's dream. You can usually pick a place on the map and go. Not this year.
I think I look at Christmas sometimes, and Thanksgiving, just times where people would, want to go away and they're guaranteed to need someone. So I look over holidays as well.
Guaranteed. Yep. I spent a holiday season in the Bay Area last year. I don't know. It wasn't last year. It was 2 years ago. All from December, January, February, something like that. So easy to house sit. You could stay there and not have a place to live in the Bay Area. If you wanted to be a house sitter, save money and just house sit full time, house sit back to back to save money on rent, it would work. Probably in LA too during normal times when people are allowed to travel. LA is also a good place to get house sits. Yes. So you were able to so you were taking care of 1 adult dog who was cute hound dog,
Yes.
handsome hound dog.
Yeah, she was a lab hound mix. And yeah, she was adorable.
What had been your pet care experience before? You'd had a dog years ago?
Yes. When I was younger, I had dogs, but technically, a child isn't really taking care of the pets.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had a cat, but that's it. So I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but I always say, I've taken care of my friends' dogs. Like, I'm going to lie to you a little bit about that.
It counts. Like if you can pet a dog, feed a dog, walk a dog, pick up the poop, and be caring towards a dog, you can take care, you can pet sit, like they don't expect you to be able to groom the dog or train the dog to sit and obey voice commands. Like they're not expecting any of that stuff. If you can take care. Say it again.
She did teach me that stuff, like the little commands and stuff. They were basic, but I got it. We worked.
Yeah, they already have that training. Like the dog is trained. You're not coming in to do any of that stuff. So it's not like you have to be like super experienced. You just have to feel comfortable and feel like you're going to be able to, take care of the dog. Keep the dog alive and happy and keep the tail wagging. Yeah, I did like that. She asked me, she was like, it's a big dog, and are you comfortable with that? I don't know that I would she was pretty big, but I don't know that I would, I would say she was more medium sized, but then again, I don't know much about dogs. I've seen much bigger than her. She thought that she was like a little 2-pounder sometimes, but for the most part, she was a good dog, a good size. Especially as my first pet. And some of the secret stuff that people who don't take care of pets know, right? One of the things is that a lot of people let their dogs sleep in the bed with them, which is something that I didn't know until I became a house sitter. Because I've had dogs as an adult and never ever did they get in the bed with me. But this is something that is a secret that people don't know, that their pets sleep in the beds with them.
Yes. So one thing she told me when we had our phone conversation, she was like, I let her sleep in the bed with me, but my husband doesn't allow it. And I think she kind of left it. Well, obviously she left it after me because that dog wasn't sleeping with me. I tried to let her hop in the bed, I want to say a couple times, and it was just a little too much. It was a little too much. And I'm not one of those people who think, oh, dogs are cleaner than humans. No, I could see the actual dirt that was being tracked on the bed, and that just, no. So I actually had to, leave her on the outside of the room. She actually, I don't know what you're going to ask me, but I'll tell this.
Go ahead.
She actually kind of set me up with someone else who was interested in pet sitting. And when I had my interview with them, I think they said that their dog sleeps with them. But she was like, since you're here, he'll just want to sleep in the little bed at the end of the bed. I think he takes a long time to warm up to people or something. So okay. I like that as well.
Yeah. So you have to ask people specifically where the dog sleeps, and you have to ask them like, will the dog be okay not sleeping in the bed? When I came to this house sit, their dog bed, they have dog beds. They have a few in the house, but they have dog beds in her bedroom. So, and I'm sleeping in the guest room. So I said to her, when I go to sleep in my room, should I bring their dog beds into the room with me, or what's going to happen? And she was like, well, the big dog is going to just sleep in his bed, in one of his beds. He rotates wherever. But she said the little dog is just going to jump in the bed with you. She said he knows the word off, so if you say off, he'll get off. What she didn't tell me is when I say off, he stares me down.
They try you because they know you're not mom.
And then I'm like, whatever, lay down, you can stay.
A little dog will be fine, but this was like having a man sleep next to me, and I just wasn't in the mood for that, so she had to go.
They take over. Yeah, I didn't know this. Even the little dog, he's on me. Like it's not like he's little, he can just sleep in the bed, whatever. Like you are aware all night long that he is in the bed. He doesn't snore, but his brother snores. The big dog snores. So it's not like, oh, who cares if he sleeps in the bed? Like when you let the dog sleep in the bed, you are committing to having your sleep disturbed because
and a 5 or 6 a.m. wake up, which that's another thing. No, thank you.
Yeah, because they can tell time. Yeah, they can tell time, and they know if it's the time that they think something should be happening, it better be happening. This dog, just before we got on the call, He came over here, took his little rubber toy and kind of threw it at me with his mouth to tell me that I needed to feed them. Like, don't wait. And he saw me sit down. He was like, don't wait. It's dinner time. You need to feed us now. Yeah, they don't play.
Yes.
They're more scheduled.
On a strict schedule, usually.
They're more scheduled than you think they are. Hi, Tracy. So let's answer a couple questions. Sarah says, have you ever lost keys or broken anything while house sitting? Did you have any mishaps, Monique?
No. So I was convinced that I was going to lose that little one key they gave me, and it had the address on it, and it had the code to the gate, but I kept it the whole time. Everything was good.
Good.
And I didn't break anything. I don't really do too much. I kind of keep to my little space, so I think it was good. Good.
Yeah, it's always like just a single key. Sometimes it's on a little tiny keychain, or the one I have right now, exact same thing. So I wear a fanny pack all the time, and I have a special zipper for it to keep it. But yeah, that is very nerve-wracking when they hand you.
Fanny pack.
Yeah. It's very nerve-wracking when they give you that little key. Like, oh geez. And you would think by now I would buy myself a big keychain to put it on, so I would feel. But I've never thought to do that until this second. But
I've never had that thought either. I was about to say, I haven't thought of it.
One day, I will buy myself like a regular size keychain that I can see and know that I have this key with me, so I won't have to panic every time as soon as I shut the door. I have broken things. I've broken a wine glass. I broke that blue Mexican glass that stuff, that heavy. I broke one of those when I'm like, oh, she's gonna be so upset about this. And I think that's pretty much it. People know that you're human and they know you're doing them a favor. You're taking care of their responsibilities so they can travel, so they can do what they need to do or what they want to do. They don't expect you to be like a ghost in their house. You are a person walking through their house, living in their house, using their stuff. So nope, I've never had anybody freak out about any problems. And any problems, like nothing. You treat the house with respect.
I can say that.
Yeah, you treat the house with respect. You tell them when something goes wrong. One lady had a whiteboard and she was just like, write down everything that breaks and everything that happens. And I did have something in her house that I had to write down. Oh, I lost the chip clip. She had the chip clip thing on the dog food bag, and I lost the chip clip, right? Just small stuff, right? But just report it. Don't hide it. This was her point. Tell me so I can replace it. Yeah. Tell me so I can replace it. Don't have me looking around my house for this chip clip that's been gone for 3 months. Tell me you lost it.
She thinks she's crazy. Like, where did this chip clip go?
Yeah. But that's it. Nothing reasonable. Now, I house sat for a lady who the house sitters before me decided to start a fire in the wintertime in the fireplace and didn't open the flue and flooded the house with smoke. So after that experience, she still brought a house sitter in who was me. And so I don't think there was anything I could have done to her house that would have upset her based on that last experience.
But now she knows, tell people how to operate that fireplace.
Or tell them to leave it alone. Just turn the heat up. If you get cold, turn up the heat. That's it. Yeah, but
I ain't even gonna lie.
I would not. There's some stuff, even though I say live in the house like it's yours, there's some stuff I just would not do. And that's one of the things I would not do. But yeah, people don't expect you to be walking on eggshells in their home. If something happens, you tell them it happens, and then you move on. Yeah. Tracy says she's new. Are there sites to explore to becoming a house sitter? Yes, Tracy. Trusted Housesitters is the gold standard. Like, Trusted Housesitters is the site that is the largest house sitting service, and they have house sits worldwide. When we're allowed to go out into the world, Trusted Housesitters is our main jank. We both have house sat through Trusted Housesitters. Monique's first house sit was through them, and I book still 50% of my house sits through Trusted Housesitters. I'm gonna drop my link right here to them. You can scroll around on their site. Depending on what country you're in, you might see some stuff that's interesting to you, and you might see nothing because people in your area are not traveling. But check out the site, scroll around. That's the way that you get comfortable. Like, you see a house sit and then you're like, oh, I'm applying. Like, you see a house sit that just opens your eyes. You're like, I'm going to stay in this house. I'm applying for this house sit. even if
Yeah,
they
I know
move.
before I would sign up again, I would see what's out there. Then I'm like, okay, I can go ahead and create a profile.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you don't want to get stuck with, no house sits that you want to take, or somebody like me. I don't do wintertime. I boycott winter. If all the house sits were Canada in February, and no thanks. It wouldn't interest me. So check out what's there and see if you find anything that screams out at you. Right now, most of the house sitter friends that I have are just house sitting in their country, even though Europe is opening up and people are getting to move throughout Europe. If you're in Europe, you can move. Europe is back open for business for the most part. But everyone else, like everyone here in the U.S., is just sticking to U.S. for now, because you never know when either things are going to open back up or things are going to be restricted even more, and you're going to be caught out there. All right. Sarah says, what do you do? What if you want to leave before you're due to finish house sitting? Do you have to find a replacement? I would not do that if you ever want to house sit again. Imagine
if you know in advance that you can only do certain days, and you can apply for just those certain dates, and then they can find someone else to do the back end. But unless it was a family emergency, I wouldn't do that.
That's right. That's exactly right. Yes, that's good advice, Monique. Tell them when you apply in your awesome template, the awesome email that we have for you. In that awesome email, tell them that you're available for these specific dates. And imagine, you leave your dog or your cat with somebody, and then they have to dip, they leave.
Yeah. You're in another country, maybe in a different time zone, and you got to figure that out.
Yeah. If there's a chance, then be firm on your dates, even if sometimes they're flexible on theirs. So be firm on your dates. Tell them when you're available and when you're not. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes if you may need to come into town a day or two before, they may be able to accommodate you. So.
Yes. Yeah, that's another thing about people who bring in house sitters. They're pretty welcoming because they're okay with the stranger being in their house when they're gone. Yeah. They're also okay sometimes with the stranger being in their house when they're home. Sometimes they're like, you can come early. This lady, she was like, come a day early. Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm like, I can't. It depends on how I'm feeling, how introvert hermit like I'm feeling at the time.
Oh yeah. If you have a whole family and maybe you have kids, I already booked my flight, it's for this day.
I do that sometimes. I shot myself in the foot with that in Mexico, though. It was a beautiful house sit in San Miguel de Allende, and she asked me to come a day early. I can't remember why I didn't want to do it. But then when I got there, the house was even better than I thought it was going to look. And she had like separate space and like not just a bedroom, but like a mini apartment type thing. But I had already booked myself in the hostel. So I came over without my luggage just to say hi and meet the cat and then leave. And she was like, no, I wanted you to spend the night here. And I was like, oh, yeah, I wish I had. Could have saved my little $16.
That just triggered a memory. So when I did go and meet them, I just went in. I didn't bring any luggage or anything, just in case they were some crazy. So I'm like, because I had stayed with a friend the night before, I said, oh, my luggage is at my friend's house. I just came to meet you guys, and then I'll head back over there later and get it, which was a lie. It was in the car.
Yeah, sometimes you just want to, hedge your bets a little bit, just in case you need to make an exit.
Yeah.
When it's new, it's normal to feel natural. I mean, it's natural to feel nervous. When you're new at it, it's natural to be like, I'm, not 100% certain about that.
Yeah.
At this point, like, I remember feeling like that, but I don't feel like that. Now it's just a matter of like, do I want to listen to this person talk to me for the next 2 hours? Like they want me to come, they want me to be at their house at 6. We're not going to go to sleep until like 8 or 9 or 10, not even 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock. Do I want to sit and talk to somebody I don't know for 3 or 4 hours, or do I want to mind my business?
I'd like to mind my business.
It depends. And then always when I do give in and I'm like, okay, sure, I'll come over. They treat me so nicely. Sometimes they take me out to eat, like they treat you well, but you just have to go by what you feel like, how you feel at the time.
Yeah, what you're in the mood for.
Okay, G. Hi, G. I'm sorry I skipped over. I kind of skipped over you, but I thought you were asking something else. G wants to know about house sitting with a family. Yes, people house sit with families, which is surprising to me. A lot of house sit listings,
Oh, they have a family and
the
the whole
house
family's
sitter.
coming to the house?
Yeah. Uh-huh. I interviewed Tanaj and Tino. Tanaj, TENAJ underscore TINO underscore on Instagram. They are a house sitting family. They have a 14-year-old son, maybe 15, and they house sit.
Okay, awesome. So it's like couples, except I got kids
An
as well.
extra. We're a couple plus one. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you talk to people and they agree to it, it's whatever. People house sit with their kids.
Yeah.
People house sit with their pets. It's whatever you guys come to an agreement on, which is
That's a family vacation
it's a
for you
family
guys.
vacation. Sure is. Sure is. When I talk to them, they're from New Orleans. They went and traveled around Southeast Asia, did some house sitting there, and then they came back to New Orleans for a house sit, to visit their family and stuff. So they were in New Orleans about to house sit, and hang out at home for a while, or in their hometown for a while. So yes, it's a thing. Couples house sits are very popular. Like a lot of listings will say that they're looking for a couple. Yeah, usually I think it's just because they think, we're a couple and we're leaving, so we have to find a couple. Because it's usually not very much work, It's like I can walk a dog. I'm a single person, but I can walk a dog.
Let me tell you, I didn't know how much work it would be because I felt like I was pet sitting a toddler. I told this to you, like that the dog needed a lot of attention. So I think the one tip I'd give anyone is to see how much time they spend with that animal because the person I was house sitting for was a musician. Like she took that dog everywhere with her. And the dog was up in the car, like literally all day the dog was with her. And I didn't know ahead of time. So ask how much time you need to spend with them, because on the letter she left me, she was like, don't leave her alone for more than 4 hours. And I'm just like, it takes 2 hours to get anywhere in LA.
Yeah.
Like, so you basically can't really have a life sometimes.
Yeah, that's a good point. Some people who are like more experienced with getting house sitters, some clients who are more experienced clients know to put that in there because they don't want you to be shocked when, at the last minute you're like,
in here on me.
Yeah. Yep. That's why I don't like puppy house sits. I don't take house sits with puppies because they want you to take the puppy out every 2 hours. No thanks. Even sometimes I'm just like, I ain't going nowhere, but I don't want to have to do it. Yeah.
Is it time? Is that time again? Like,
yeah, that's what you learn, that there are people whose dogs go everywhere with them, go to restaurants and stuff with them, and they want they expect that same thing from you. Yeah, I do it. Like I have taken a dog to a restaurant more than once. I'm like,
if I really want that house sit, I will do whatever with that dog. So.
I'm like, Ruby, you want to go get some pizza or what? Are we going out to eat or what? Yeah, I've done it because there are people who, especially because I house sit for a lot of retirees, that dog is always with them. So that's a good point. It's not so much, I don't run so much into people saying you have to stay home all the time. It's as much as like, this dog is always with me. So keep that dog with you. Like when you go, like, in Brighton in the UK, she was like, oh yeah, I take him to the grocery store. And I'm like, this is not a tiny dog that you could sneak into your bag. I still couldn't figure that out. I did not take the dog to the grocery store. She was fine home by herself. But
I would have some boundaries.
Yes, we need a boundary. But there are people whose dogs are with them all the time. And so, that is something that, you have to find out, you have to ask. Even when they say they can be alone for X number of hours, because a lot of times you'll see that this dog is fine being alone for 8 hours because we don't work, because we work away from the house. Sometimes still you'll find out that even once they get home, that dog goes, every time they leave the door, that dog goes with them. It's something that, you just have to ask.
Yeah.
All right, let's see, where are we? Hi guys, if you're new, say hi. And
hey y'all,
and please ask all of your questions. You have a first time house sitter and a 41st time house sitter. Hi Shu says, do you suggest arriving a day before your house sit begins?
I think it's important to know what time they're leaving, because if they're not flying out until like 8 or 10 p.m., then if you're coming into the city at like 8 or noon, I think you have time. But I don't know why. I think it was a cheaper flight, and that's just why I came in the day before.
Yeah.
There was no real rhyme or reason.
I only do it based on, if I'm flying in, I do try to get there a day early. If I'm coming from somewhere far away. But if we're talking about, I'm just taking a bus from one town to the next, because I do that a lot in Mexico, take the bus an hour away or something, then I don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It depends on how far and what are the dangers of me not getting there. Like if it was a house sit in February, let's say I was flying from the US to Mexico and there was a possibility of blizzards and stuff, I've even flown in like 2 or 3 days ahead of time.
Across the country or to another continent or country, then I'd come in the day or two before.
I've done that, and then I've had house sits where I don't show up until they're already on the plane. Like I'm not even in town and they're already gone. It depends on your comfort level. It depends on what the possible roadblocks are. Like what could possibly go wrong. And
if that flight get canceled,
then you're in trouble. So it depends on that kind of stuff. So I don't know if that answered your question. It depends. It depends is the answer. Hi Tish. Hi Daisy. Okay. Do owners leave 11:59? Hi. Do owners leave some sort of protection for you? What kind of protection are we talking? Do they leave some sort of protection? Ask me that a different way because I don't understand. If you're talking about, let's see.
Weapons? I may sleep with a knife next to the bed or something, but like I didn't have an alarm system or anything. So, and their front door was all glass, but luckily, it was a sliding gate, so you couldn't see into it anyway. But
okay.
Maybe some mace with you.
I don't do it. I don't bring anything personally. I don't have anything. Like it's me and the dog.
The dog is the protection.
The dog is the protection. But ask that in a different way because I'm sorry, I'm not understanding. But ask in a different way, and we'll get you a better answer. Miss V, hi. We met Miss V last week on the last live stream with the other Monique. We got Monique's back to back on this channel.
I saw that.
Miss V says she's from Orlando. I want a house sit in Cape Town. South Africa is a good place to book house sits when we're allowed to go to South Africa. I think you're here in the U.S. So when we're allowed to go, they believe in getting house sitters. I've seen house sits in Cape Town, in the Johannesburg area, and also down the beach area, but from Durban over to the other place, Jeffreys Bay or whatever it's called. So you can house sit in South Africa. I do one-on-one calls to talk about house sitting. I talked to a woman October 31st, I think we talked on Halloween. She booked her first house sit I get this story mixed up all the time, but she booked her first house sit for Thanksgiving weekend in Washington, D.C., which is where she lived. And then she had already booked her second house sit before she even did the first one. She already booked her second house sit for Christmas time in South Africa. Did a Christmas time, sure do. Christmas time house sit in Johannesburg, South Africa. I always tell people to start locally, but she swung for the fences. She got a beautiful house sit in South Africa before she had done any house sits. So it is possible. We just need to wait for countries to let us in. If you're not in the U.S., if you're not in the U.S. and you're not here, might happen for you earlier. I don't know where you are. Canadians will be welcome places much earlier than we will. So if you're Canadian,
look at that map. You can even see past house sits, so you can kind of see, if they do usually need house sitters in this area or if they're sparse, and then I wouldn't hold my breath for it.
Yes, that's right. So you can see, even though the house sit is already over, you can still see what house sits have been done in that area. That's right. That's a good tool to know how likely it is to find something where you want to go. Eve says, I've heard the worldwide lockdown will not happen again. Girl, who knows? There'll just be orders to shelter in place where you are. Who knows? I hope to meet you in Mexico City. I hope so, Eve. I hope so. Who knows what's going to happen? I don't know. Daisy, hi Daisy. Have I ever had another person spend a night while house sitting? So I house sit for strangers and I house sit for regulars. The strangers I would never even bother to ask. But I have had regulars offer. My mom comes to visit me in Mexico when I house sit down there, And I have had regulars offer for her to stay with me. And I had one regular like get downright indignant when I said my mom was staying in an Airbnb. I thought that we had communicated clearly that my mom was not going to stay there. And she was like, what do you mean she's in an Airbnb? She called to see how my mom was enjoying herself. And I was like, good. She's staying at, I told her the name of the place in the street because it was kind of not a famous place, but like a popular place. And she was like, what do you mean? I thought she was going to stay in my house. I was like, I'm sorry, Elena. No, she's in an Airbnb. So house sitting is about relationships. So we'll talk more about this. Monique's, the people that the first house sit that she did, I say the word passed her around because I say that about me as a joke. I always say people, they passed me around to their friends, but they referred, I say it all the time, but they referred her to other people. So even though you're house sitting for strangers in the beginning, you get word of mouth referrals and you can get regulars and you can get regular clients, and then it's like they're friends. You're their friends, they're your friends, and they have different rules. And it depends on what you feel comfortable asking them for and what they feel comfortable saying yes to. It all depends. I have a regular in Mexico where if I said to her, my best friend's coming to town, can she's, oh, sure. You know, I have people that I would never ask that, you know?
Yeah.
It's about relationships.
The same way. I feel like it would depend on, the vibe I'm getting from them, because obviously the people who I house sat for, they were so relaxed. But I don't think they would have minded, but I just didn't have anybody come over, or my friends in LA have places in LA. There's no reason to spend the night. Yeah. And even the people who they recommended me to, also very laid back people. And being referred, I think, is a good way to leverage pay. Now, I justified it by, I now live in LA, and it doesn't benefit me really to house it for you, so this is how much I charge. And they, until COVID, they were going to pay me. Like, they wanted me to house it over Coachella, which is now canceled. And hopefully, if I don't go back to LA beforehand, which I don't think the industry is going to be back to where it was, but then I'll just go back and house it for them over Thanksgiving, assuming that they're still going to go to New Zealand. I think that's where they're from. But so hopefully it works out again. For the same family, or for the family they referred you to? For the new family. Wow. Offering to pay. That's wonderful. But I think the dates, if the dates did coincide where after that one I could go for the other family, then I'd do that too. I mean, it'd just be a reason for me to stay in LA for free. That's right. Yes. So with word of mouth, when you book through Trusted House Sitters, you cannot get paid. You cannot ask for money. Those are house sits just for free accommodation. But anything you get after that, anything that anybody they refer you to, any stranger you meet in a restaurant who says cute dog, are you the dog sitter? Yes, I am. Like, you can charge those people. I am not a negotiator. I just charge what I think food is going to cost me for the day. How did you negotiate the money? How did you decide what to charge them? I was all over Google, and then in the end, I felt like maybe I wasn't even going to charge enough, because you'll get some people who are like, $50 per day per animal. Ooh. Or I was going to charge one amount for one animal, and then I was like, and if you have another animal, then it'll just be like $15 more. But back to the pay, I also would never charge that original family, because they're referring me. And even the new family, they were like, and we're going to tell everybody about you as well. And kind of each person, I'm going to just up that price a little bit until it's a price that I'm comfortable with. That's right. That's exactly how you do it. I am not like I said, I am not good at charging things. So I charged in San Francisco, I charged $25 a day because I thought that's what food was going to cost me. Turns out it cost me more like $35 a day just to eat, just grocery store shopping. So that wasn't enough. That's city, so they had more than that here. It was crazy. That's right. So so charge what you can, like negotiate what you can. My per diem, like food per diem, is the base level. You should not be charging less than that if you're charging. I think one thing I took into consideration is because I was living there for the new family, I eventually felt like I undersold myself because I'm like, well, if my rent is this much per day, when you break it down, and I'm only charging you guys this, I'm like, it still isn't really that worth my while. But I did have roommates in LA, so it's like I'll get a whole house, to myself, and it kind of worked out.
That I wasn't thinking about that. That's right, because you're still going to have to pay your rent while you're house sitting. I didn't. Yeah, I wasn't thinking about that. That's a great point. Yeah, so you don't want to undercharge. Yeah, what I was charging would not have worked for you at all. That's right. Yeah, so you have to take all of that into consideration. And people know when they're getting a local house sitter, they know that they're going to have to pay. They don't. People think that because there are these free sites, no one will pay a house sitter, but that's not the case. Most people, until
I could be in my own house,
it's even that's right. Even Trusted House Sitters is only a few years old. Like, people are used to paying someone to house sit. This whole idea of not paying is pretty new. So I
told the woman, she was like, yes, of course. And then I told her the number. She was like, that's all. So that's another reason I know that I undersold myself.
Good. Okay. So now you know how to move up. That's good, though. That's good feedback from her. Because you know.
But I'll be transparent. It's not a secret. I just told her $35 for the first pet and then $15 for each additional pet. So it's not a secret.
Yeah.
If you want to use that as like a starting point.
I used $25 just because, like I said, I was just going with food. But there's no there's no guideline.
Yeah.
I house sat for a woman who told me that when she was in college, which would have been like 30 years ago, someone paid her $50 a day to house sit, like 30 years ago. So.
I saw that number on Google, and I'm just like, and I didn't say 35.
So, and I'm in Mexico charging $10 a day because I just want to eat tacos. So I'm not the authority on that particular subject, on the idea of charging. I'm not the authority on that, but do charge when do
your research.
Mm-hmm. When you're booking someone through when you're booking someone not through the site, it's okay to charge them. Sometimes if they give me a car, because some houses give you use of the car. So sometimes if they give me use of the car and they're stocking the refrigerator, I'm like, whatever, you don't have to pay me.
I wouldn't. I'm just saying this because of what I'm about to say. I wouldn't necessarily ask for a car, but I kind of feel like if I had asked that family, they would have let me. But I came there with a car that I was going to have for about a week or so. But the next family, they were like, I told her, I was like, where's the bus stop? Because I'll be catching the bus back and forth. She was like, you just use my car. Mm-hmm. So. Let them bring it up and take them up on it if you want. Absolutely.
I do all the time when I'm out, like in the country. If I'm in a city, I've had them, like in and around London, I had most of the people offer me their car, and I said no. Like, I don't even want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to have to drive on the left. Yeah. Everything is a roundabout. I'll walk. Yes. I will take Uber.
I probably would have been in a ditch somewhere. I'll get on the train. That's fine. London is fine.
Yes, but that's another surprising thing, how many people will give you use of their car. All right, Tracy. On long house sits, do you bathe the dog or take them for grooming? I've had long house sits where I took the dog for grooming. So yes, take them for grooming.
I did not. I felt like my dog needed that. And now I know to ask about that, especially if it's a long one, because she started, she had a little funk about her towards the end, and all they had was a shower. There wasn't a tub or anything. So I didn't really feel comfortable, trying to figure that out and maneuver it. But I was very tempted. To buy her some grooming products at one point. So ask about that.
Yes, ask about that. I've had people leave money for it. Well, most of the time, so here is another thing, Monique, that I think I failed. I failed you and other house sitters on. I've never told people that a lot of people leave just contingency money, I guess I would call it. They just leave money for whatever could possibly happen. And depends on where you are, how much they're going to leave. But a lot of time, I've taken the dog to the groomer using that money. But yeah, so they should
food or something.
Yeah, especially if you're pet sitting. If you're not pet sitting, then maybe there's no need for them to leave you that money. But if you're pet sitting, they should leave you something. They should agree. They should talk to their vet and agree that you can take the pet to the vet without any payment, and they'll just pay when they come back. And because nowadays you can communicate, like you can just call them and be like, "Hey, Susan, this is what's happening," So they should have some kind of agreement with the vet, and they should have some cash. There should be some cash in the house for you to access if you need to. And I don't think I've never explained that before. But yeah.
Now that I think about it, grooming is an important question because my dog, and I guess this is a dog thing, but she liked to roll around and poop sometimes. And that was when I was like, don't you even touch this bed. And like, we need to figure some things out. Like, it was, I don't know what it was. I don't know what attracts them to certain mounds of poop, but they just go for it.
They're disgusting. Disgusting. As much as I love dogs, they are gross. They're disgusting. That's why I was so shocked when I learned that so many people let them sleep in the bed with them, because they are gross. Even my own dog was gross. She used to love to find dirty baby diapers or sanitary pads. That's gross.
I would blow my nose, and I had to hide the trash can because I'm like, am I tripping? Like, there was tissue in here, and they'll eat anything. So keep that in mind. Lock the trash can up.
Yeah. So yes. So if you're pet sitting, they should be leaving some cash for contingencies, and grooming would count for that. So yes, I have taken a dog to the groomer. I actually sat for one dog sat for a dog who was like, she wasn't like a show dog, but she was some kind of a fancy dog. I don't know how to explain.
Like a pure breed, and once they start buying them, those dogs are family. She
wore clothes, and she wore a jacket, or like a jacket, like a sweatery jacket type thing. And she went to the hospital. She was like not a support dog, but she went to the hospital and visited people. So yes, so she went. So I took her to the groomer, and she also liked to roll around in dirt. So we had to take care of that because I knew her owner would not want her looking like that just on a regular day. So we had to go to the groomer. All right, let's see if we have any other questions.
I'll add something else.
Yes.
I just keep getting these memories.
Please.
So the other woman who I was going to pet sit for, she had asked me if, I was vegan or vegetarian, because come to find out, she would rather you not cook meat in her pots and pans. Yeah. So that's something to maybe ask, because they may not even think of it until, you get there and they're like, oh, by the way, please don't put meat in my pots and pans. So I don't know how common that is, but
it's common. It's surprisingly common. Do you remember if it was in the listing or if she just told you?
Oh, this was the woman I was referred to. So
okay.
I think I texted her a little bit, and then I went to meet up with her, and it was kind of near the neighborhood where I live, so it worked out.
It's surprisingly common, but I've only seen it in listings. I don't think I've ever had a word of mouth house sit where they said that, but I see it in listings a lot. And I don't take them because I eat bacon on a weekly, if not daily basis. That's why animals like me, because I smell like bacon. So I wouldn't work for me. It would not work.
For a short house sit, I'd be open to it, because especially in LA, I try to eat like vegan, vegetarian anyway. But I don't know. It depends.
Yeah, it depends. So that's the thing about house sitting. You choose, right? If they tell you what they want. If you want to do that, you do it. If you don't want to do it, you don't do it. I've had houses where the dog does not, or the animal, the dog or the cat does not eat regular dog or cat food. You cook their food. All right. If it's a beautiful house, I did a house sit in Guanajuato, Mexico. She lived in a vacation villa, but she lived there full time. She had a concierge, hot tub, pool, all that stuff.
Well, okay.
The view was
for this animal.
View was fantastic. I sure did. Every morning I got up and scrambled eggs. She showed me how to do it. Like it was so hard. She was like, you have to scramble the eggs, but don't scramble them too hard. And then add in the chicken livers at the last minute. Scrambled eggs and chicken livers. Add in the chicken livers at the last minute. Just, we want to keep them mostly raw. We just want to warm them up. Right? She gave me a lesson.
That dog must have been very picky. So if you cooked it the wrong way, that dog wasn't going to eat.
She was picky. It wasn't it was cats. The cats did not care. Cats eat dead mice or live mice. What do they care? It was her. She was picky. Mm-hmm.
I've never seen someone cook for a cat. Right.
I cooked for those cats for an entire month. Yes, I did. Happily. I enjoyed that house sit. It was beautiful, and the view was amazing. Yeah. So like people ask, like, what are the responsibilities? It varies from house sit to house sit, and you choose. You decide, do I want to do these things or do I not want to do these things? Mm-hmm. Is it worth it? Is it not worth it? I've had house sits where the person where just in communicating with them, they seemed really fussy and picky. And I'm like, you know what? Actually, I'm no longer available. I just thought I don't want to deal with you. You choose.
Because it's going to be too much of a hassle. Like, you do also want to enjoy yourself. I don't want to feel like, I'm stuck in this house and I'm a slave to this animal. Like, I want to see the city a little bit. And some people are like, if the pet is elderly or maybe it's sick, has to be fed or given medication at certain times. Like, you have to take a few things into consideration.
Yes. Take it all into consideration. And then you say yes or you say no. We're used to, when we talk about house sitting, people are used to thinking of it like a job, but they're not your boss. You're the boss. They're not the boss. You decide what you're going to do, what you're not going to do, and then you guys agree or part ways, So yeah, you choose. I've never had a house sit where I was in there and I was like, oh, I resent having to do this, whatever this would be, because.
And I've heard those stories.
Yeah, I can imagine, because just from reading some postings, just when you read some listings, you're like, oh, hell no. Sometimes they want you to cut the grass for really long house sits, like in the UK, like it's in a manor out in the country and whatever, they want you to do the yard work while you're there, but you might get 4 or 5 months in this place,
Okay, make it worth my while. And I may be open to that.
People take them. People snatch them up. Not this people.
Yeah, some people are doing it full time where they need some place to stay, so that they'll do a lot of things that I'm just not in that position yet. And I can say no.
That's right. I say no. Yeah, there's some stuff that I'm not willing to do, and then there's some stuff that I do that other people would be like, I'm not. There's no way I'm cooking for this cat twice a day. Yeah, but you decide on what you're into, what you're not into. Some stuff will sound ridiculous, but it seems harmless, right? And then other stuff, like the vegetarian, don't cook meat in my house, like that's a no-go for me. Like, I'm not ashamed to say that's a no-go. And then somebody else will take that house sit and love that house sit,
Yeah. If you don't do it, somebody else will.
Somebody will do it.
They'll be okay. Don't feel bad about saying no, because there'll be somebody else willing to do that crazy job.
That's right. That's right. Hi, guys. We have some new people. ALG 604. All right. Shu says, how far in advance can you book a house sit? Now, there are people right now who have house sits up for summer of 2021. Like some people, house sitting clients. Yeah. Are just regular people. There are some people who are super planners. There are some people who are last minute people. So as far as a year ahead of time, if you wanted to book a house sit, feel free. If you want to look for a last minute house sit for next weekend, you can do that too.
Sometimes I myself book flights 10 months in advance. So if I were needing a pet sitter, I would go ahead and throw it up there because I know my dates and I don't back out of vacations.
Yes. Yes. Do you remember how far ahead you booked your 6-week house sit?
I do not remember. Maybe it was like a month, but I'm not sure. I don't want to lie.
Okay. Yeah. So it varies. This New Orleans house sit, I'm pretty sure I booked it in January, which is not like me. So we're talking 6 months, more than 6 months ahead of time. I booked this house sit. Not like
so
me.
I personally, as a pet sitter, I would have to think very hard. It would have to be somewhere where I'm dying to get to, because sometimes you just don't know what continent you're going to be on. And then you got to think, well, if I took this, I'm in Australia, but I have this house sit in like Utah. You got to get that flight, which is going to be pretty expensive. So I'd be very careful about me booking things too far in advance.
Yes. Yeah, because that's right. You got to get there. That's one of the reasons I don't book too far ahead, because I have I can't think of what they call it. I always feel like something better is just around the corner, right? So I'm like, this house sit is an A, but an A plus might be just around. Let me just wait a few more weeks, So that's part of the reason I don't book ahead. You don't know what's coming. But like I said, there are people who post their house sits a year ahead of time. There are people who post their house sits and they leave the day after tomorrow. So whatever works for you works for them. Okay, so 1159 is clarifying their question. Because any house can be burglarized, I'm wondering if instructions are given just in case. So it's basically like you live here. I live here. So my instructions are just make sure that you don't leave the doors unlocked. One of the reasons I like house sitting for dogs is dogs bark. There's no like.
They'll let you know if something's out there lurking in the shadows.
Sure will. That mailman can't even get by without some barking, and he comes every day. Yeah. So no, there's no special, like there's no inherent extra danger in being a house sitter. I don't think it's not like it's any more dangerous than just living here. And so there's no like extra precaution, know the number to 911. I've been guilty of this, of house sitting in countries, and I don't even know what their 911 is. So I went to Australia and I was taking care of the lady's kids. I was a part-time nanny for just a couple months in Australia, and I was taking care of her kids, and the neighbor came over, or the friend came over, and he hurt himself, and I was like, it wasn't bad, but I just started thinking like, I don't know how to call if we have an emergency. So I don't know how I got to that, but yeah. So there are no extra dangers in being a house sitter. Same precautions. Most people nowadays have an alarm. I was surprised to hear you say they didn't have an alarm, but you said they were moving, like they were temporary. But nowadays, most people have an alarm, and they have cameras on the front door and the back door. They even have the pet cam.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't have this, but this was it was Echo Park, LA, which. It's kind of nice. If you own a home there, then your home is usually, and it's renovated. I guess you would call them gentrifiers. Like it was a nice little area where I didn't feel like, something could have happened. Yeah. But I don't know what I would have done if it had.
Yeah. Same stuff you do at home. Stand at the front door and yell, help, help. Yeah, I'm in like a gentrified neighborhood in New Orleans called Bywater. Really pretty though. And they have the regular security system. And they have a little gate key thing, and it's just regular. It's It's just like being anywhere else. Yeah, it's just like where you're living. All right. And okay, guys, well, we've been at it for a full hour and change. Again, thank you for finding us. Thank you for putting in the effort to find us. Since you put in the effort to find us, make sure that you ask the questions that you have. I'm going to drop the link again to Monique's, I lost it. Drop the link to Monique's YouTube channel. She's Wanderlust My Way. She's on YouTube, she's on Twitter, and she has a blog called Wanderlust My Way. Oh, let me link to this first. Monique. So Monique's article, she has an article on 20 Black-owned restaurants in New Orleans. Which I looked up before I even got here. And then I haven't been to one yet because I've just been using DoorDash. I saw a picture of one. Some of them they're closed, so good luck. But I actually got that list. Also from No Madness, I think it was Essence Fest, one Essence Fest, and somebody was talking about, where to eat. And I was like, can I use all of these to create a blog post? So it's one of my most popular ones. Yes. Enjoy. Yes. And then I've linked to Monique's YouTube channel. She is Wanderlust My Way on Twitter as well. But this is the link to her YouTube channel on all platforms. This is the video. This is the actual video of her day in the life of a house sitter. So you can see what we've been talking about. You can see what her day was like, house sitting and dog sitting in LA. And it starts when she gets up. All right. And it's so boring, you guys. So don't think that maybe I haven't glamorized it enough, but it's pretty boring. Like you just wake up and feed it and walk it. That's it. You live. You just live. Also, okay, so this is so let's talk about this really quickly. My birthday is July 5 and I'm turning 46. So our friends at Trusted Housesitters have given me a discount code for 40% off of your annual membership. Where was this? Girl. So I have a steal, y'all. It's a steal. So instead of $125, I think it's $76 or $74. This is only good. This 25% off discount code is good through July 6th. So yay for you for being here. Yay to you for being here, because you are going to be able to get access to this. And if you're in Notification Gang, you're getting this. You're getting access to this. If you're watching this later, if it's after July 6th, I'm sorry. It's no longer a discounted price. If this is the first time that you're hearing about this birthday discount from Trusted House Sitters is because you're not getting my newsletter. So, hi Tish. So here's the link to get my newsletter. Okay, this is why you don't know about this yet. The people on my newsletter have already been informed.
No, I saw it.
Okay. Yeah, the people on my newsletter have already been informed. So, two things. So, hi, thank you very much, Candace. Candace says happy birthday. Hey Tish. So, two things. Okay, so you can get the discount 40% off on its own. Okay, I can't put it on the internet. They've said they gave me a code and they said don't put this on the internet. So if you want that 40% off on its own, just email me, Stephanie@Vacarious.com, or you can DM me anywhere. I'm Vacarious everywhere. So
you guys, if you just get one sit, you have more than paid for it. Like $70-something. That is worth it. It's worth it.
It's worth
Even
it.
if you book one sit, it's worth it.
Imagine going to LA for 3 nights and house sitting for for a 3-night house sit for $75. Like, you're not staying anywhere in LA for $75 for 1 night, let alone 3 nights, you know. If you have more time, somebody like our friend Janella, like if you have more time, then you can get more benefit from it. But this annual membership is worth it at full price. It is a big bargain at 40% off. So if you just want the 40% off coupon code, email me and I will send that to you. It expires July 6th. Now I have bundled up some more stuff. So you know that I have House Sitter School. If you want me to walk you through the process of booking your first house sit, if you feel like you're nervous about doing it on your own, you can do it on your own. I want you to know this. You can do it on your own. Monique did it on her own. I did it on my own.
But it may take you 3 years. Like it took me 3 memberships. Go ahead and sign up with her. Like, save yourself that trouble. It was so frustrating.
So if you want me to help walk you through the process, we can do a one-on-one call, or we will do a one-on-one call, and I'll give you House Sitter School and the 40% off discount for $46. That is a separate link, and that is here. Oh wait, I gotta type that in. So that is Vacarious.com/happy46. I should have had that. I'm gonna pray that I typed this right. /happy46. Okay, because we're doing calls with this, because I'm doing this with one-on-one calls, I only have 10 slots. So I only have 9 because the newsletter already went out and someone already bought their bundle. So if you would like House Sitter School plus a one-on-one call with me plus your 40% discount, use the Happy46 link, Vacarious.com/happy46. Okay, if you okay with DIY and you just want the 40% off discount, email me or DM me, Stephanie@Vacarious.com, or DM me @Vacarious, and I will send you the link. Please don't share the link. I'm not kidding. Trusted House Sitters has, every time I've communicated with them about setting this discount up, they have said to me, do not share, because this is 40. This is not the standard.
I have never, even me renewing my profile or my membership, you get 20% off for your renewal, but I have never anywhere on the internet seen that discount.
Yes.
So that's a bargain.
Yes. This is the benefit of talking about stuff on social media. So so switching gears really quickly. A lot of you guys have something that you want to do, like you have a plan. You're on this channel, you subscribe to this channel because you have a dream to do something else, right? This is what we talk about. We talk about taking a sabbatical so you can do your thing, so you can live your dream. A lot of you have a dream of doing something. This YouTube channel is less than a year old. Trusted House Sitters reached out to me to ask me if I would become an ambassador for them.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. So I'm not just not a regular affiliate. I've become an ambassador for them. This happens when you show your work, right? Don't wait until you're perfect to put your product or your service out there. Show your work. Practice in public. It's okay to be scared, but you still do it, right? So my YouTube channel is a year old. It just got monetized. I just became an ambassador for Trusted House Sitters. I partnered with Travel Noir just this week to do some stuff. This is what happens and my birthday is coming. This is what happens when you step out and do it. Do your thing in public. I know that everybody's got their thing that they want to do, but we're just like afraid to get started. But the sooner you start, the sooner the good stuff starts coming back to you. Monique got free. So when I saw your video and you said that you got the sponsored car rental, I was like, I was so jealous. I was like, wow, I can't imagine. Because you were like, I'm renting a car. And I was like, no, don't do that. And then you were like, well, it was sponsored. I was like, girl, yes, go.
Yeah. But even if you do end up on my blog, I do have, I think it's one of my first posts on my homepage where I tell you the one website I use to actually get very, very cheap car rentals, where it could be maybe a little under 2 weeks and it'll come out to like $100 and something. I'm fine with that. Like, it's not so bad.
Yeah, that's great.
But yes, the first one that I pulled up to the crib and that was sponsored.
Great. Yes. So this is what happens. Monique has a blog. She's got the YouTube channel. This is what happens when you show your work, practice in public. We are, especially Black women, we are so used to having to be perfect that we just wait until we think things are perfect before we put it out into the world. And I'm a witness that you don't have to. It doesn't work like that.
Better than perfect.
That's right. And you don't get perfect in your little closet. You know, you get better, you improve when you're doing the thing out in the world, not when you're thinking about it and planning it. Planning doesn't get you there. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's so I always have to have some sort of sermon. That's our sermon for the week. Do your thing, like, do it. Thank you guys for the birthday wishes. I'm excited to be turning 46. When I think about the number, it seems huge. And also, like, not that old. Like, it's a weird age to be turning. I feel like, oh, it's, I still got it. And I also feel like, good Lord, a lot of you guys are in my same age group. It's a strange age, but I'm happy to be here. I'm so happy to still be here, and I'm excited about my birthday. And I want to share. So the birthday bundle is there because I want you to do the thing that you want to do. Right? If house sitting is going to help you do your thing, whatever your thing is, then I want you to do it. Whether your thing is taking a sabbatical to travel, whether your thing is starting a business, if it's writing a book, right? House sit to do a writer's retreat, which is something that I want to do sometime this year. House sit to, like, DIY your own writing retreat or whatever it is.
Or like me, I went out there thinking I'm going to get YouTube content, which I still want, but it's like I end up on shows. Like, I have friends and family like texting me, is this you? Like, so go for it. Don't think too hard about it. Just go for it.
Go for it. Oh, we both agree. So where have you been on, Monique?
So the shows that people actually have seen me on, because I don't even really watch TV. I don't watch any of them. But like 911, I've done that a couple times, and that's on Fox. I've done LA's Finest, but the season isn't out yet. LA's Finest with Gabrielle Union and Jessica Alba. Yeah. Mixed-ish, I've done that a couple times. So regular, primetime TV shows, but I don't know what they're looking like. Like, I wouldn't even feel comfortable watching myself.
No, you're kidding. You're an actor.
Never.
Really?
No.
So what's your big dream?
I don't know what's going to happen. So I could end up back in LA, but honestly, I don't think the acting industry is going to be what it was, or it may take a while to get back there, because I don't think COVID is going anywhere. So I hope that, the EU lets us in sometimes, because I would love to end up in like Budapest or Prague, somewhere where the cost of living is cheap, but cities I love, and I think the quality of life is very high, and I can get this YouTube content. Yeah. So right now I'm probably just going to have to, walk around DC with a camera or something. We'll see what happens.
DC is a travel destination for a lot of people, for everyone.
Yeah.
Except for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll work. So Budapest and Prague are your, like, dream locations?
Just because I love those cities, and I know how cheap it is. Or I was thinking, the first place I went where I quit my job back in 2017, I booked a flight to Medellin. Never been, didn't know anyone who'd been, but I heard, City of Eternal Spring, and I loved it. So I would go either there or somewhere even cheaper like Bali. But those are 4 cities where I'm like, I just need to see a flight deal, and that's what's going to decide where I am when the flight deal comes through.
So if it wasn't for COVID, you would be acting in LA?
Yeah. And it really started picking up, and then all of a sudden, we're on set, and it's like, there's a lockdown, and we're shutting down. This studio's shutting down. Like, it was like a domino effect, and then everybody was shut down, which, I mean, It had to be done. I'm not mad at it at all, but it's just weird how that happened.
How did you get into acting in the first place?
It was, I think I had lived in New York for a few years until, I left to travel the world. And right before I moved to New York, I'd started taking acting classes here in DC at the theater lab. And it was just something I'd always been interested in my entire life. But I was a full adult and I was thinking, just do it. Like,
just do it.
I'm the type of person to talk myself out of things, or I just decided to go for it. But then I moved to New York and I had a full-time job there, and it wasn't something I could really pursue. So I do a few shows here and there in DC over the years, but this isn't, a television or movie town. So it was far and few in between. So I just decided, we know LA or New York is the place to be. And it just, I don't know. I just had to do it. I had to try.
And you did it. It's so brave of you to do it. Things like the interruption has happened, but that's not the end of the story, right? It's not the end of it.
The best thing is I did it, and I know I can do it again.
That's right. You get your courage up. It's like a muscle. Once you do it, you're like, oh, okay, I can do that again. That's exactly right. I wish you all of the best.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you for coming on and talking to us. It's been almost an hour and a half.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.
Yes. Thank you all, friends.
And happy birthday.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you all, friends. Thank you very much for the kind birthday greetings. But seriously, sign up for Trusted House Sitters. Get that 40% off. Not kidding. So I will put my email address in the description for the people who are watching the replay. Email me if you want the 40% off. If you want the full bundle, click on the link that's in the description. All right. And don't forget to follow Monique. Like I said,
please subscribe
to her YouTube channel. Like I said, her day in the life.
Change my old videos.
We watched your day in the life house sitting video together, me and the dogs. Every time the dog made a noise, the little one was like, "What is happening?" All right, friends. Okay. I keep saying goodbye. Okay, I appreciate you for stopping by. Enjoy your long weekend, everybody. Enjoy your long weekend, Monique.
Thanks. You too. Bye.